12:05 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM, the home of the Information Overload Hour. But today we have Helping Seniors of Brevard, the show that's heard every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 o'clock. Let's get things underway. Introducing to you right now the host of the show and the executive director of Helping Seniors of Brevard. Here's Kerry Fink. Hi, Kerry.
Thank you. It's always a good pleasure to be here on Wednesdays at lunchtime. We call it the Wednesday Lunchtime Gathering, Helping Seniors on the Radio. And I usually say on behalf of Joe Steckler, our president and founder, welcome to the show. And then I always add Nancy Deardorff, our operations director. But today I don't have to just announce her. I get to welcome her into the studio. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Kerry. I'm well. Thank you.
It's good. Thank you for I know how busy you are on the phones. And I got to tell you, folks, if you haven't kept up with this, among other things in the organization, Nancy is in charge of the Helping Seniors Senior Information Helpline, which has now been serving the county. I think we counted it down. It's like 12 years now, right?
Yeah, we're in our 12th year.
Yeah, and so that's a free call, by the way, for seniors, the families that care for them, and even neighbors sometimes. We get calls from neighbors of seniors going, I'm a little concerned about the lady who lives 2 doors down because, and then the story begins. But I was thinking, Nancy, you really have seen an uptick in the number of calls, certainly within the past year, but especially, I would say, in the past 6 months or so.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's, a lot of what's going on in the country with economic status. People are struggling financially.
Yeah.
COVID didn't help people, didn't help any of us with anything. So, yeah, we have seen an increase in the number of phone calls we get.
I was thinking at the last board meeting, you told the board that we'd had over, was it 350, 375 calls or something in the past month?
Yeah.
And you've seen it jump up as high as like 4.25. And
yes,
that's like double what we were seeing this time last year, if I'm remembering the statistics about right. So my point is, what we're finding out is there's a greater need for finding resources for seniors. And so my basic premise was, thank you for taking a break from the phone so you could get into the studio and be with us today, because we do 3 things in the Helping Seniors organization. Number one is we have faithfully operated that Helping Seniors helpline now, as Nancy was saying, into our 12th year. And we've helped more than 5,000 families free of charge. And Nancy, before we go too far, let's talk a little bit about what a day on the front lines looks like for you, the kind of calls you're getting and how you, when you are able to help, how you're able to help.
Sure. For those that may not be familiar with our senior information line, it's for anyone, seniors, their families, and neighbor, anyone who is seeking information about seniors or for seniors. Call us, and the subjects widely vary. We take care of, we take calls from anything from household issues, legal issues, financial issues, healthcare issues, and more. So to give you an example of what I mean, we get simple calls. People don't know who to call. I need a good house painter, or I need somebody to pressure wash my home, or a good handyman. So they know that we have a trusted network of providers, and they're senior-friendly businesses that will take good care of people and be honest and forthright with them and do a good job. So they call us so it could be something as simple as that. It could be, I need an elder care attorney because I really need to work on a will or a trust or Medicaid planning, whatever the case may be. Healthcare issues get a lot of calls from, unfortunately, a lot of calls from families dealing with dementia. And they can no longer handle their loved one by themselves at home, so they're looking for help, respite for themselves, and help for their loved one, whether that be in their own home or exploring other living options.
Yeah.
We get a lot of calls for senior living options. We're not a senior living advising company, but we can guide someone in the right direction if they're looking, for instance, for an assisted living. And we can assist them with that. What's the best assisted living for them if they want to explore that? And that is completely free. And then we get calls for a lot of times during open enrollment, they're confused about their Medicare policy, their Medicare Advantage plan, you name it. The more serious calls we get tend to be from seniors or someone who knows a senior that are at real risk of homelessness. So they are perhaps living in their apartment or their home that they've been renting, and suddenly the owner decides to sell and they can't find an affordable place to live.
Right.
And then, of course, the most serious are those that are homeless. And I do get those calls from people who are literally, while they're talking to me on their phone, which is usually government issued, because I've had people say, if someone's homeless, how can they afford a phone?
Right.
Well, thank God they can, because then there'd be no help.
Yeah.
And many times the money that they have goes towards that cell phone. It's their lifeline.
Right.
So we get, sadly, calls from people who are literally living in the woods. Best case scenario, they have a vehicle, so they're staying in a parking lot somewhere. But a lot of those folks don't have vehicles. So the calls that we get range from the simple calls to the more serious in nature. And our goal, our mission, is to improve the quality of lives of seniors in Brevard. And I think we do a really good job with that. And we do that through education. So I don't just give a phone number. We educate on the phone.
Right.
Not only about resources available, but whatever the subject may be, we try to educate. So we educate, knowledge is power. We try to empower seniors, hopefully help get seniors and their loved ones to think about possible situations before it gets to crisis point.
Right.
And then we have very successfully connected seniors and their loved ones and neighbors to resources that exist. Some of them are free resources, some of them are businesses, so that they can get the help they need in whatever area or issue they're calling about.
Yeah. We're talking with Nancy Deardorff, who is none other than our very own Helping Seniors Operations Director, and talking about the senior information line. And there's a line of yours that I've really picked up that I like, which is so important when we're talking about seniors. You say it often. It's like, how do you know what you don't know? And so I also like the other thing that you really talk as you explain what we do with the Senior Information Helpline. You call it senior care navigation, because people say, well, are you like a referral line? Do I call you up and you're going to give me a number? And to some extent, that's always going to be true. Helping Seniors is a small organization. We exist with your support, your help. We're a Florida nonprofit, and we can only go as far as people help us to go. That's just, it is what it is. But the reality is, I'm amazed how often we are able to make a difference, because between, you've got 33 years of registered nurse experience, so you've seen a lot just in your whole medical side of your career. Then you have a whole lot of home health management, because you ran one of the largest home health agencies here in Brevard County. So you have been in and out and working with seniors, working with medical. So you've been on all sides of this equation. You've been helping Joe. Going back to the days that Joe started the Brevard Alzheimer's, got the Joe's Clubs rolling and all of that, and then you were here on the ground floor of Helping Seniors. So you really have like this whole background. And so just like Joe, you guys know where to go when somebody calls and says, well, this is what I'm facing. So it may be, I don't mean this funny, but this may be their first chance facing it. But for you guys, this ain't your first rodeo. You know where to go. And so when I say it's a whole lot more than a referral line, it's not like you're saying, well, let's call this number. Thanks for calling. Have a nice day. You actually take the time to follow up and everything.
Oh, absolutely. Senior care navigation is what we do. Much different than a referral line. Now, are there people who call our line that just need a referral? Mm-hmm. They want a trusted whatever? Yes. Right. But the majority of people do need senior care navigation. What is senior care navigation? Well, it is that phone call where I really take the time to listen, look at the person as a whole. Oftentimes, I will hear a caller and they call about one issue, and then as I get to know them, there are several more issues.
Right.
So looking at that person as a whole, and yes, connecting them with resources, but also follow-up and helping them navigate that. So we're not certified case managers,
right,
but we do a form of case management.
Right.
But we call it senior care navigation. So when someone needs help, maybe it's not so easy for them to reach a resource.
Right.
I can make some of those phone calls for them. There are seniors out there with no access to internet, or they don't know how to use it. I can be their Google for. I can Google for them if it's a resource I'm not familiar with.
Right.
But most of the time, we have a resource. I like to stay. All of us at Helping Seniors, yourself as well, Kerry, we're very well connected in the community. We know people. And how do we know what we know? We get out there, we network, we get to know other businesses, organizations, whether they're for-profit or other nonprofits. We learn what they do, because the better educated you are, myself, Joe, certainly, the better we're educated we are about what is out there, the better we can connect our seniors to the help that they need. And that's how we do it. We stay connected. We get involved with the community. You yourself are a member of the Brevard Commission on Aging.
Right.
So we stay active, and we network, and we meet people, and we bring all of that knowledge back to the table when we're talking and educating our seniors.
You know, that's such an important point you talk about networking, because I was thinking back, that's something Joe has always done effectively. He's always been a tireless champion on behalf of seniors, and he's always made sure that he surrounds himself and his organization with organizations that have that same passion. So what I mean by that is, you know, as a nonprofit, we have a number of businesses and organizations that come alongside and support the work of Helping Seniors. We publish a directory. We do some television. We do the radio shows. We do the print section. We call it the Yellow Pages there in the center of Senior Scene magazine. And all of that gets helped underwritten through a number of businesses that have the same passion for seniors that we do. But I was thinking, as I thought through it, it's just kind of funny how it naturally happens. Like attracts like. Our goal is to get those businesses, listen, they're businesses, they have to keep their doors open, they have to pay their light bill and do all those things. But there is a difference, because you can tell when you talk to those people that their real mission is to make sure that they're having a positive impact on the people that they serve. And so it's interesting to see you, Nancy, as you're working and you're trying to find the right fit or the right scenario that's going to advance somebody's situation, how often those partners come into play.
Oh, very often. I can't thank our sponsors and underwriters enough. Our sponsors are our lifeblood. They're how we continue to exist. And I trust every single one of them. And yes, I do refer to them often, not because they're sponsors, but because I know they're so trusted. We know the owners of some of these businesses, the managers of these businesses, and we know at heart, even for for-profit businesses, their heart is in the right place, do the right thing by the senior, by the consumer, whatever it is they're looking to help. Or for help for. And I've actually used our own sponsors myself for services. When I've needed something, I've turned to them, because I'm like, who better than our trusted network of providers?
Right. And, you know, it's kind of almost goes without saying, but, you know, Joe, again, we're talking about Joe Steckler, our president and founder. He would be the harshest critic of somebody that wasn't doing right by seniors, and they would not be in our organization at all. So there is a serious kind of almost vetting that goes on with these guys as well. But my point that I was trying to get at is really that it's so nice to see that they share that passion. You know, people are moving to our area from the north, south, east, and west like crazy. I mean, it's just, that's one of the challenges why we have the challenge with affordable housing, is because there's such a competition, because people are moving in, they're looking for a place to live. They've come from up north, the Midwest, out west, wherever, and they're settling in Florida, and they have no idea who to start calling. So we get a lot of those calls too. And I was thinking, even as we're talking our way through this, you know, that a lot of the people that, number one, many of the people that we work with, they also volunteer their time on our Helping Seniors board. So they get involved in all aspects of trying to make sure life is better for seniors. But many people who move here, there was a statistic. We were doing that presentation at Zon Beachside. Every last Monday of the month, we do a thing called the Senior Resource Community information event. So it's a Senior Resource Center of Brevard community information event. It's absolutely free, and we encourage you to come out. We're going to actually talk a little bit more about that as the show goes along today. But on Monday, we were talking about how you can stay safe at home. So another aspect of what we do with helping seniors is teaching people, because for all of us, being a senior is on-the-job training. We're learning it as we go, and about the best we can do is take some tips and techniques from people who know how to navigate the road, maybe because they've been down that road a few times before. But my point was, Tracy Graff, who's a registered nurse, she has a company called Avid Home Care Service. She's one of our partners in the Helping Seniors world. She put together a great PowerPoint presentation that we were able to deliver at that session on Monday. And I remember one of the statistics was that she said nationwide, 16.5% of the population is over the age of 65. 16.5%. And she said, I think correct me if I get this wrong, but I thought also in her presentation it was 10,000 people a day are turning 65.
Yeah, that's what her slide said. Yeah.
Wow. So that's pretty impressive if you just stop there. But the real statistic that matters for us here locally is that in our area, it isn't 16.5% of folks that live in Brevard County who are over 65. It's actually 25%. So we always quote that statistic. 1 in 4 is over 65, and 1 in 2, if you want to use AARP's definition of a senior, 50 plus, is over 50. And the thing that may be surprising to folks new to Brevard County is that means we have more seniors in Brevard County, and I'm just talking about 65 plus right now, than we do have kids under 18, which is why advocating for seniors and getting this information out is so important.
Oh, absolutely. It's a significant part of our population here in Brevard County, and we need to take a vested interest in our seniors. Just like with children, they say it takes a village. Mm-hmm. It does too with seniors. And if you're not a senior yet, if you're lucky enough, mm-hmm. you will be. So it's important that we help seniors live the best quality of life possible, that we help lead them to that, whatever help they need. And it's very important that we advocate for our seniors, because all of us one day will be a senior. Yeah. And that's why Joe started this organization. Yeah. Joe doesn't, we can't save the world, but Joe doesn't think, and I agree, and we all agree with him, not one senior should have to go skip their medication or take it every other day because they can't afford it. No senior, nobody should be homeless. Yeah. No senior should have to worry about, in their golden years, having to worry about whether they pay for rent that month or food. And I talk to these folks, these type of folks that skip meals or skip medications. And that's why this organization was started. So we exist to advocate, inform, educate, and connect.
Yeah, you said it so well. And I was thinking too, there was another thing that we all talked about early on when Joe introduced helping seniors into Brevard County, and we were talking about that we are not here to compete with any other agency that's trying to help seniors. We're here to complete that picture, because we work day in, day out with a lot of the other nonprofits here that are focused on senior services. They'll call us because they know we have an expertise in a certain area, and we know when to refer to them because they may have a program that's going to benefit a senior. And somehow, I think it's that connection of knowledge and that passion to make sure seniors have a resource that's making a difference. We live in a county that really probably should and could do better for our seniors, and I'm saying that overall. And I think part of the way we're going to get there is by continuing to advocate. I always say you can't pick up a newspaper. Joe is publishing in Hometown News every couple of weeks. He's in Aldea today, Ebony News today. He just where a Barefoot, I was thinking even in the Barefoot Tattler, he's always got a column in there because he's trying to get three things to happen. Seniors to learn how they can live their life better. The families that love and care for seniors, give them some insight and some education. This is how you can best help mom, dad, aunt, uncle, whoever it is. But then the third thing is we got to make sure businesses and governments, we love our kids. I love to get on this soapbox and say we love our kids in this county. We raised we voted in and said we want to pay more sales tax. We want to pay an extra 0.5 cent on everything we buy because we want our kids to have the best schools possible. I think that says a lot about us as a community. But the question is, I think we've answered one part of the equation, because I already said we have more seniors over 65 than kids under 18, school-age kids. So wouldn't it be appropriate for us to think of more things we could do to make a senior's life easier here in Brevard County?
Yeah, no question. It indeed takes a village, and however we do it, no one individual and no one organization or business can do it. It's going to take all of us working together, and the advantage that we have with what we do is because we're so connected with businesses, both for-profit and nonprofit organizations, that when you don't know where to turn, call us. Give Helping Seniors of Brevard a call at 321-473-7770. Reach out to us, and we can help connect you to those great organizations that specialize, if you will, in the problem or whatever the topic of interest is for that senior.
Yeah, I'm fascinated when I look at the plethora and the diversity of organizations and businesses and nonprofits that work together to make life better for seniors here in this county. And in fact, what we're going to do in the second half of the show, we're going to end up talking about staying safe. Now, our theme this year, as you know, Nancy, has been getting your ducks in a row, which is kind of a euphemism for something Joe has talked about since day one. He always talks about us getting an aging plan together so that we have a roadmap. Doesn't mean we want something terrible to befall us, but we want to have a roadmap of some of the things that oftentimes seniors run into, and a plan to get successively to navigate through all that. And so we have really been on this get your ducks in a row thing. We've had all the elder law attorneys we're connected with share wisdom about different things that they suggest we have paperwork-wise. We've had financial experts come in and talk about, here's how to keep your money safe, here's things that you want to think about. And then this month, we've been on staying safe at home, and next month, we're going to be staying safe as you live in other locations. So as we go to the half show break, we're going to come back on the second half of the show and talk some more with Nancy Deardorff, our operations director for Helping Seniors, and we're going to get into some of the nuances of the things we've been sharing. So we look forward to seeing you on the other side of the break. Stay with us. Helping Seniors Lunchtime right here on 90.3 FM radio.
12:34 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. You're listening to Helping Seniors of Brevard Lunchtime. And here is your host of Helping Seniors of Brevard and the executive director of the organization, none other than Kerry Fink. Hey, Kerry.
Hey, John Harper. Thanks again, and thank you for hosting us here on 90.3 FM, WEJF. We want to say hello to listeners who are listening literally all over the Space Coast. This is a 30,000-watt big signal FM, covers this whole area beautifully, gets on down into Indian River County. We can track listeners into Orlando, and actually we can track listeners globally because many listen to WEJF.net, so you can hear us online. And would be remiss if we didn't say hello to those of you who are catching this as a podcast, because as soon as each show is done, we basically get them out as fast as we can. So a lot of people find us on Apple iTunes or Amazon podcasts or Spotify or iHeartRadio. Wherever you get a podcast, you'll find Helping Seniors Radio there. And we're trying to give you information to help you get your ducks in a row, is what we call it. Joe Steckler, our president and founder, calls it making an aging plan. And so in the studio today with us, we have the privilege of having with us Nancy Deardorff, who is our operations director. And welcome back, Nancy.
Thank you, Kerry.
And, we were talking just before we went into the mid-show break about the fact that our theme for this year has been getting your ducks in a row. And and also, as this year has gone along, I keep learning this, but I really think our theme for next year, as a corollary to this, not to replace it, but just to add into it, is don't do this on your own. There's so much good help from experts who navigate, and so much of this help really doesn't cost you anything. Many times it doesn't cost you anything up front to get that right advice. But as we've talked about in certain cases, because earlier this year we had a bunch of the elder law attorneys who support the work of Helping Seniors. Let me give a shout out to Bill Johnson, William A. Johnson. He's been a platinum supporter of the Helping Seniors organization for years. He's another one like you, Nancy, that goes back with Joe back into the Brevard Alzheimer's days, and just been with Joe and all of Joe's adventures in making life better for seniors for all these years. But, we went to Bill and we went to the other elder law attorneys who are connected. We have some great ones who are connected. Ruth Rhodes, for example. Not only is she part of the organization as a supporter of the organization, but she actually volunteers her time on the Helping Seniors Board, as another example. And then also the law office of Amy B. Van Fossen. Her and her team are always behind the things of helping seniors. But we went to them and we said, guys, you're the best folks that we know to help seniors put things together in a way that makes sense so that seniors can get stuff done the right way. And they talk, every single one, doesn't matter who you pick up the phone and talk to, they say, we got to get seniors to get ahead of that curve, because they come to us when mom or dad has had a stroke and now there's a big problem because everything's in disarray and we don't have the paperwork we need. So as much as we want to help, the options we have to help legally are very few and very complex and very costly. And if I could have just talked to this family 30 days before this medical incident happened, we would have so many choices and there would be such a small amount of money that it would have cost to get things set up at the right time. Another thing we've talked about a lot just in that whole area is people who move in and their documents maybe come from another state, or maybe they tried to do themselves, with forms online or something like that, or maybe they just literally plucked a number off of a bulletin board, someplace that said, oh, I can help you draft a will. And the problem with all those things, as I keep learning from these guys, is that the time when you need that thing to work is the time you get no do-over whatsoever because it's done. Whatever you wrote has to stand, and if it's not right, if there's a flaw in it, it really will cost you and your family not thousands. It could be tens and tens of thousands. So that wisdom of getting the right advice. And then earlier this year, we talked with Beth Courtney, who is she has a company called Financial Cornerstone Group, and she also goes way back with Joe's been a sponsor over the years and served on the board of directors. She actually helped get the whole advocacy thing going, but she wrote an article, The 5 Things That You Want to Know About Finances as a Senior. And some of these are they're not like, oh, I have $1 million I have to invest. I know she deals with rich people, but I'm saying she's also there to help people. She teaches Dave Ramsey at her church, just helping people learn how to get out of debt and stuff like that. So why am I saying all this? Because we're going to get to our topic about staying safe at home, which is what we've been talking about this month. But the reason I'm bringing these resources up is because they're all available to you. You can find these. Everything we do, radio shows, TV shows, print articles, and helping in the Helping Seniors newsletter and Senior Scene magazine, everything is archived. You can go to helpingseniorsofbrevard.org, and you'll see there's a tab that says Helping Seniors TV, Helping Seniors Radio, Helping Seniors newsletter. All that information is available to you. You can search it out if you say, I don't care about anything else. I just want to know about power of attorney. You could just type that in, and all these resources are going to come up. We also put all these things together on our YouTube channel, Helping Seniors of Brevard, and our Facebook page, because a lot of times, Nancy, people will tell us they heard something or saw something, and they may go, I was okay on this, but this is really going to help if I can get this over to my brother, my uncle, somebody like that. So this month, we sort of took as a topic, staying at home safely. And you and I, together with the help of Karen Wernland, who has Emerald Care Management, she's another one of our volunteer board of directors, with Tracy Graff's excellent help. She gave us a great PowerPoint to work off of, but we were talking about tips and ideas to stay safe at home. And I wanted to kind of use some time on our radio show to reiterate that, because I thought it was really good information.
It was excellent information. Excuse me, Kerry. It was excellent information. And what I found very interesting is Tracy sent us those slides. Mm-hmm. And if you take a look at the article I wrote in our June edition of our newsletter, mm-hmm. It's almost mirrors it.
Wow.
Great
minds think alike.
Well, I think it's the fact that she's an RN. I practiced nursing for 33 years. And these things are things that, as a nurse, we deal with every single day. So it's funny that we address the same things because we know that. But us knowing doesn't help unless we get that information out. So, yeah, our June theme, the subheading under Getting Your Ducks in a Row was how to age at home, if that's your plan to stay at home, how to do that safely.
Yeah.
Some people may choose to move out, downsize, go to assisted living. We'll address that next month.
Right.
But some people say, no, I think I'm planning to stay in my home. And there's lots to consider when considering aging in place at home. There is a huge financial aspect you need to look at. Even if your mortgage is paid off,
right,
there are expenses, and we'll talk about that next month. In
Yeah.
fact, my article addresses that as well. Staying at home is a great option. Most people want to be home. Is it always the right option? Maybe not. But for those of us who want to age safely at home in our house, there's things that we need to consider. And one of the biggest things is safety issues. So the biggest safety issues for facing seniors
Yeah.
is, and this goes whether you're home or not, but especially home, because we don't always have the adaptive equipment. You know, our home is not a facility that might have adaptations.
Right.
The biggest safety concern for seniors is falls.
Yeah.
Falls are the number one cause of morbidity and mortality in seniors.
Yeah.
As we age, our chances of falling increase over time. Over 65, and then when you get over 85, it just is that much more. And there are a lot of things that seniors need to consider to prevent falling. Now, you can't always prevent a fall. I want to make that clear. You see these ads on TVs for attorneys saying, "Did you have a slip or fall in a nursing home?" Nursing homes aren't always responsible. People fall.
Yeah.
Seniors fall. They just do. And the chances of seniors falling are pretty good. So the first thing, in fact, in nursing, we learn how to help someone fall.
Oh, wow.
Which is another subject altogether.
Wow.
Because oftentimes, if the fall is in progress, you can't stop it without hurting yourself or the patient. So, but the number one is prevention, of course.
Yeah.
Fall prevention.
Well, and that was something that we were talking about in the session. We want to thank everybody, by the way, who comes out to these. You're invited, by the way. These happen on the last Monday of every month, 10:30 a.m., live right there at Zon Beachside. They give us this beautiful room called the Nautilus Ballroom. I always describe it as kind of like they have this thing that looks like a lighthouse, and it's the ground floor of that lighthouse. And so, we're seeing growing audiences every time we come out. We had to shut down, of course, for COVID, and now people are discovering it. And it's a great morning out because we pledge to make the whole thing 55 minutes or less. So it's not going to take up your whole day. It's absolutely not a sales pitch. It's none of that. This is all community information. Number three, it's great hospitality because Chef Jason at Zon Beachside always gets some good goodies out there and some coffee, and it's just a pleasant morning out. But even if you can't make it, though, we record these and we use these for Helping Seniors TV, and we put them also on our website. So if you missed the seminar, for example, that Tyler Runte with the law office of Amy B. Van Fossen did about 5 legal things you need in your checklist, it's on our website. If you missed Beth Courtney's talk about 5 things for your financial planning, that's also out on our website. But coming back to what we were talking about on Monday, what was fascinating is that we got into this conversation about there are many things. It's kind of like a checklist. And I remember you talking about as you move into a senior's home, particularly in your days, Nancy, when you were working with seniors and going in and helping them get home health, you would kind of intuitively look around the home and make some suggestions of things that are probably going to help the person who maybe just recently returned home after a hospital or a rehab stay or something like that.
Yeah. Well, so falls is definitely one of the things that we took a look at. And again, back to Tracy Graff's excellent slide presentation and my article, the 4 main things that we address is, of course, any safety issue, but the 4 main things are falls.
Yep.
medication management.
Yeah, that was a big one, and I don't know that I knew that was quite as important until you started explaining about that term polypharmacy.
Polypharmacy. Yep. So falls, medication management, fire safety in the home,
Yep.
and then general safety in the home, which addresses things like safety and security, prevention of break-ins,
Right.
that kind of thing. And also cybersecurity and scams.
Yeah.
So back in home health and back to the issue of falls, we'll break those down briefly. In home health, when we went out to admit a patient for home health, we always did a home safety check.
Yeah.
And that is a walk around with permission, of course, of the
Right,
homeowner,
right.
to walk around and check for safety issues. Things like cords stretch across pathways.
Right.
Throw rugs is a big one.
Yeah.
Area rugs and throw rugs. It's not just throw rugs. Throw rugs can often slip. Some people say, well, I have that grip stuff so it doesn't slip.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's the pile of the rug.
Yeah.
So if you are older and you are walking with a shuffle, so to speak, you have a shuffling gait. You're not lifting your feet all the way off the floor, or you're using a walker or a cane. Those are things that can get caught on the pile of an area rug or
Right.
throw rug, and oftentimes cause a fall. So that's the first thing. We can't make people do it, but we always recommend get rid of the throw rugs, get rid of area rugs with huge pile on them that could trip you up. Bathroom safety is huge too. Is there grab bars? What is the entry into the shower tub area? Is it a shower tub?
Right.
If so, how do they? And one of the things I was saying the other day at our senior education series was we actually would have the patient fully clothed. We would say, could you demonstrate, how do you bathe? Oh, I shower. Okay, can you demonstrate how you get in the shower for me? Fully clothed with
right.
us, with them. And we could see if they were able to do it. Because sometimes it's a huge fear of seniors. And seniors, if you're listening, or a loved one of a senior, it's a huge fear of seniors that when home health or somebody else comes in to do a physical therapist, whatever, does an assessment on you, seniors sometimes don't tell the truth.
Yes.
We ask them, have you fallen in the last 6 months or year? How many times? No, everything's fine. They often tell the doctor everything's fine. And the huge, that stems from fear of being removed from their home and quote unquote sent off to the old folks' home.
Can I tell a funny story here?
Sure.
This involves my mom, and it shows the hazard, but it actually was funny how it happened. So we're actually over at my mom's house. This was a number of years ago. She's sitting in her recliner, and I'm sitting there having a conversation with my son. So she knows we're in the next room. And so out of this, she calls for my son, and she says, could you come here for a minute just when you have a moment? And so he goes into the next room. My mother was trying to sit down in her chair, missed, and just slipped down on the floor, couldn't get up. And so just to your point, this is what she doesn't call for me. She goes, she
doesn't want you to know.
She goes, I don't want you to bother your father, but when you have a minute, could you guys
help
come
me back
out
in
and
the
help
chair.
me back up?
Yes.
And it's that thing. It's I don't know if it's a pride thing. I don't want to be a bother.
There's a huge fear out there, and that's a whole other show. Nursing homes, skilled nursing facilities. They're not all bad. They can be very good for someone's well-being. But there's a huge fear.
Right.
I don't want to go to a nursing home. Oh God, I don't want to. Some people make their family promise, you'll never send me to a nursing home. And so there's a real fear that somebody will come in and say, oh, nope, you're not safe. Off you go.
Right.
That can't happen. I'm letting people know that can't happen. Unless you are cognitively, mentally incapable of making good decisions for yourself. I am telling you right now, if you live in the most unsafe conditions and you are of sound mind, nobody can kick you out of your house.
Yeah, you get to make your own bad
decisions.
decisions.
You get to make that decision, okay?
Right.
So us healthcare providers, when we go in, we're just there for good advice.
Yeah.
So we'll do that safety assessment. And oftentimes we'll see, somebody will say, yeah, I shower a few times a week, blah, blah. And then we see them get in their tub shower or not. They can't hike their leg up and over, or they almost fall.
Right.
So there's things that can be done. There are companies out there that will do a shower tub conversion, and they'll remove the tub part.
Right.
I'm so sorry, I'm hoarse today.
Well, we were talking
That's because I talk on the phone I'm talking all the time. I'm so sorry.
But we were talking about, you're talking about, what do they call it? Zero you have a term for it,
zero
like
entry.
Zero entry, which means you don't have a step.
There's
right?
not really, or there's either a minor threshold. It depends on the setup.
Yeah.
There's companies that might have to have a threshold, but you can easily like wheel a wheelchair over it.
Right, right.
And then there's zero entry showers. So there are things that can be done there. If someone can't afford that, there are things that can be done with the tub shower combination to make that safer.
Yeah.
Non-skid surfaces, shower benches. So falls is a huge one. And falls often happen. We're going to run out of time, but I'll just finish up on the subject of falls.
Yeah.
Falls often happen in the middle of the night. As we age, our kidneys become more active at night, in case you're wondering why older folks have to get up to go to the bathroom. Then there's medications which sometimes cause that to happen.
Too.
So we go from perhaps a sound sleep to, we're suddenly wakened because we have to use the bathroom. Well, what happens with seniors? They don't want to have an accident. Who does?
Right.
So they get up really fast. They may or may not use a walker or an assistive device. Usually, even if they're a person who uses a walker, they'll skip using it. They'll get up, abruptly stand up, and then they make their way in the dark towards where they think the bathroom is, and they fall. That's how falls happen a lot. So there's a thing called orthostatic hypotension. That is, it happens to all of us, but some people more severely than others. If you've ever, any of us, young and old, been laying down or sitting down, and then you got up real fast and you got that head rush or dizzy, and you go, woo, I got up too fast. That's the side effect of orthostatic hypotension. It is your blood pressure shifting from the lying down position to the standing up position. And if we have a big difference in our blood pressure from lying down to sitting to standing, you can feel the effects worse, causing dizziness. So it's important if you get up in the middle of the night, you just went from a sound sleep.
Right.
Sit, if you're a senior, sit on the side of the bed for a few seconds, okay? 10, 20, 30 seconds. Dangle your feet a little.
Right.
Then stand up at the side of the bed, so if you feel the urge to fall back, you fall back on your bed. And then stand there 10, it depends on how much orthostatic hypotension you have, 10, 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, and then make your way to the bathroom, which should be well lit. Have something indicating, because your eyes are also adjusting.
Right.
The other thing is people fall over the very equipment, that walker that is meant to help someone prevent a fall, is oftentimes what they trip over on the way to the restroom.
Wow.
So you've got a poorly lit area, you're getting up fast, perhaps getting dizzy, you're tripping over things because you can't see, and it's all for the sake of hurrying up to the restroom because you don't want to have an accident. And I'm here to tell you, it may not be pleasant to talk about, folks. As someone who was in nursing for a long time, all of us would much rather have a little bit of an accident in the middle of the night than fall and break a hip.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
That's a big game changer.
So, because people, when I say, well, sit there for a second and let your body adjust, and then stand there for a moment. Don't just dash to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And people say, well, then by that time, I won't make it. I have to go. Better an accident than
a big accident.
Right. There are pads for your beds or adult undergarments that you can wear while you're sleeping. It's not worth falling and breaking a hip, or worse, having a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah, such good advice. So again, we're talking with Nancy Deardorff. She's operations director for our Helping Seniors nonprofit. And like you mentioned, we really don't have enough time to cover everything that we should. But the good news is that we're going to stay on this topic. It's been our topic, staying at home. So I want to encourage you, if you didn't already get your June Senior Scene magazine, make sure you find a copy. You can always find a copy online at seniorscenemag.com. You can always find the information on our Helping Seniors website at helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. All that is available to you, and that's one of the reasons why we archive all the shows, because there's lots of good information about this that we've done over, Joe started the organization in 2011, and here we are in 2022, and so lots of TV shows, lots of radio, lots of materials to help. So just before we head out, I want to take just a moment to give you a second to grab a pencil and a piece of paper and jot down a couple of dates. Nancy, let's give that senior information helpline number, because that number is going to be important if you have any questions about any of what we're going to talk about in the next 90 seconds or so.
Yes, and also if anybody wants to know where, many people like the hard copy of Senior Scene magazine.
Yeah.
If you need to know the location and you don't have access or don't want to go online, you can also call me on the senior information, and I'll tell you the location where Senior Scene is dropped off closest to where you are. Or for any reason, our phone line to reach out to us is 321-473-7770. If I do not pick up the phone, it means I am either occupied out in the community, in community event, or I'm on the phone. Please do leave a voicemail. I call every single caller back.
Yeah, no, and I know you do, and it's a lot of work. So the dates I wanted to give you was Saturday, October 29th, 2022. That is going to be the grand drawing event for our 6th annual Helping Seniors car raffle. And folks, it's important that you get behind and help us on that. You could win a brand new car if you're in town. You don't have to be present to win, but if you're in town, you don't want to miss the big festivities at the American Muscle Car Museum right there on Sauner Road in Melbourne, because your ticket is admit one. And certainly you're helping the Helping Seniors organization. So you can get tickets at helpingseniors.carraffle.com or by calling Nancy at 321-473-7770. She'll get you set up on that. And the other two dates, real quickly, January 6th and January 8th. 2023. Those are the dates for the 2nd annual Helping Seniors Foundation Cruise. We got information on the website, helpingseniorstravelclub.com, or again, Nancy will have it for you at 321-473-7770. So thanks, Nancy, for being here today.
Thanks. And may I just add, I am so looking forward to our grand drawing event at the American Muscle Car Museum and the cruises. They're going to be so much fun.
So stay connected, helpingseniors.brevard.org, and we'll see you next week right here on 90.3 FM WEJF. Have a great week.